Hey everybody, Kyle Knott, your average finance guy. Coming back from the last video I made, wanted to talk to you about what to do after you get everything paid off. So the last video we had a carpenter and his fiance were making $10,100 per month. They started off with expenses of $9,500, which gave them a positive cash flow of $600. They had all these debts. We still got the mortgage in there. Basically, my last video, go ahead and check that out. Showed you how we got rid of all that in 4 to 5 years, depending on how we kind of went with it. But this kind of goes through everything. I spelled that out in the last video. So all in all, about 50 months, 60 months is the 10-year mark. We should be out of all of the debt, except for the mortgage. Okay, that's $411,000 when we started. So 5 years in, they'll still have a balance to it, but not looking at that. That's one way you could go. But this video, I wanted to come and talk to you more about, okay, once we've kind of got rid of this big credit card burden, now what? Now what do we do? So all in all, we don't have to make any of these payments anymore. We're going to say their income is still $10,100, okay? Likely it'll be more than that. Should get a raise, bonus, whatever, but not accounting for any of that. I always like to do all my projections on worst case scenarios. You never know when life's going to happen, so just do it conservatively. 10,100 expenses are now, they were 9,500, but we've knocked all these out. So now our expenses are 7,964. Gives us a cash flow of 2,136. So what I kind of want to talk about, like these are now our numbers. I'm gonna go through here and clean this up a little bit. So what if we just went and took $2,000 and we did something positive with it? Now, at this point, if you want, you've got 2,136 of positive cash flow. You can party, you can blow it, throw money, you can do whatever you want with it. It's not going to the banks. It's not going to the credit cards and interest, just throwing it away. If there's something else you want to do with it, go for it. What I would suggest and what I will show you next is you're in this groove of really knocking your debt down, really getting ahead, digging yourself out of the hole. Here's what I say. Now we're even keel. After you've come up out of the hole, now let's go to the moon. Let's start climbing. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is if we just take, let's say, $2,000 a month and we commit that to an account that will pay us, let's say, 5%. We'll start there. So what you could do is you could open a savings account. Hopefully we've got that, and we can start plowing $2,000 into a savings account. And I'll kind of show you some of that. I'm gonna push pause here. I'll get this cleaned up, and we'll get started again here in a second. All right, we're back. Got it cleaned up a little bit here. So what we're looking at is got it all nice and tidied up. If we just take $2,000 of that cash flow and we find some kind of magic account where it pays 5% interest, let's just kind of pencil that out to show what that would look like. Okay, so month one, if we come in here, is going to be, we're going to deposit. We're going to take our $2,000 and we're gonna drop that in. We're going to say it's pays interest of 5%, kind of the same way the HELOC takes interest. We find this special account that will then give us interest. Okay, first month of that's going to be $8.33. So we'll call this the balance. We'll get interest of $8, and then that gives our total to then down here we're going to add. We'll just go up here. It gives us 2,008. All right, then we come down here for month two. We're going to add another 2,000. So we got 2,008, and we're going to add the 2,000. So we've got 4,008. Interest on that is going to be $16.70. From there, we'll call that 4,025. And then month three is 6,000, because we still added our $2,000 to it, and that's going to pay us $25 of interest, and that's going to get us to 6,050. Month four, add your 2,000 to that, gives us 8,050. 50 is going to pay $33.54. We'll call it 34. That gives 803 or 8084. Month 5, add our 2,000 to that, gives us 10,000. Oops, add it to that. Sorry, 10,084. Interest on that will be $42, bringing the balance up to 10,125. Down here, month 6, add 2,000 to that, 12,125. Our interest is $50, and that one is 12,176. All right, you guys get the hang of that. I'm gonna push pause, and I'll just run the rest of the year out here, and we'll get back to it here. Okay, here as you can see, I ran the math out for the rest of the year. We left off here in month 6. So just every month we're just adding $2,000 of our free cash flow. Again, this time we're collecting interest instead of paying it like we're used to. So here's our final balance, and then we add 2,000. There's our interest, final balance, boom, 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 all the way through. And at the end of 1 year, we're gonna have $24,660. Basically, we put $24,000 into it, $2,000 a month, and we got $660 in interest at this special account where they pay you 5%. They're not real common, but there are some banks out there. I've seen some promotional rates of 4%. There's some CDs out there, but CDs you have to throw in one big chunk. So maybe you could find some kind of, I don't know which, whatever. So say you come up with this number, and then at the end of the year you throw this into a CD, and then you can make a 5% rate on that, but it's only that $24,000. So let's say if we just keep, for the point I'm trying to make here is I'm going to run this out instead of going by monthly. Now I'm just going to go by year. So I'll start listing out the years, and let's just see, what this number can grow to. So be right back. All right, this is where it starts getting fun. So we went through all the months. This is 12 months equals 1 year. Came up with a balance of 24,660. Year 1, take that right up here. I did all that through. I got a spreadsheet where I can just copy and paste all this right through. Year 2, 50,000. Year 3, 70, almost 78, 106, 136, 168, all the way down. In year 10, you got $311,858. We've contributed $240,000. That means interest of almost $72,000 that we've now earned. Okay. In the last example, we had all of our debts listed and all the interest that we're paying. That was all going out. We would have paid way more than that. It's time to turn the tables. Let's start earning that interest rather than paying. Okay. I started going to 5-month or 5-year increments. If we take this all the way out to 15, 20, 22 and a half, 25, and 30, you're thinking, why 22 and a half? Because that's where we hit the million mark. Okay. After 22 and a half years of doing this is a simple 5% vehicle, putting your money into earning that interest, letting it compound. Okay. Was it Einstein said, compound interest, those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it. So that's what this is all about. Last video, we were paying it. We're done with that. We've dug out of the hole. Now we're climbing the ladder to success, and we are now earning that compound interest. In 22 and a half years, you are a millionaire. Literally, you have $1 million in this vehicle. Okay. Keep taking it out. Year 25, you got almost 1.2 million. 30 years in, you got 1.6 million, almost 1.7. Okay. $1,671,452.76. Of that, in 30 years of putting $2,000 a month, which isn't even our full cash flow from way back when, you can always increase this. We've put in $720,000, and interest has been paid of $951,000. You almost got, in 30 years, you almost have $1 million of interest that's been given to you. Okay. Now, if this is a traditional savings account, like most people probably are familiar with, what happens in, let's say, wow, 5 years in, I've got $136,000. I'm tired of this house. We're going to sell that house, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this for, I'm going to take, let's say, $100,000 of it for a down payment on a house. Okay. So now what happens to this? This now turns into $36,579. Where did we have $36,000? Somewhere between year 1 and 2. Okay. So basically what you did is you just restarted the clock. You restarted the cycle. All right. If you do that in year 5, this is gone. Okay. You're starting over again. Yes. Now 30 years from here, which we're already 5 years after we got out of debt. So, I mean, this is already, year 10. If we take $100,000 out, it's added 30 more onto that. Okay. So now it's, from here, it would be year 35 before you get to this number. Okay. So that's one thing with the savings account. Now, there's another vehicle that's called the infinite banking concept. And what this does is it uses a whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company, and these companies will pay you dividends. So it's, when I say insurance company, most people are like, oh no, I want nothing to do with it. It is life insurance. It is not, I know Dave Ramsey says buy term and invest the rest, but this is the way to go. If you do this, you can borrow against your cash value $100,000. Okay. Now, yes, you have to make payments on this. You have to pay that back, or do you? But this continues to grow. You don't take the money out. You take this. If this is inside a policy, think of it like your home equity line of credit. Okay. If your house, this person owes $411,000 on their house, but if their house is worth $511,000, they've got $100,000 of equity. So you can go to the bank and you can borrow that equity out. Now, did you sell your house? No, you still have, but now you just owe a little bit more on your house, right? So same way with this one, if you get into this policy, you can take $100,000 loan against your cash value, because your cash value has been deemed to be about $136,000. So you can take a loan out against that and then pay it back on your own terms. You don't have to ask anybody. You just, I've got my policies with Mass Mutual. I get online, I click, I tell them what I want, and within it's usually the next day, maybe 2 days, I've got a check in my account, in my checking account, of whatever I need it for. I'll take loans against this and buy rental properties. Then when I buy rental properties, I put that money to work for me. The rental properties hopefully cash flow at the end of the month after paying all the bills. I've got extra money left over. So then I take that money and I start paying myself back. Okay. So you can do this however you want, but it's kind of like another, it is a loan, but you pay this back on your own terms. Now, in order to keep using this throughout your entire life, to get to year 30, you have full access to this cash value. But the way this works is you have full access to this cash value. This never stops growing. Even if I take out $100,000 loan in year 5, my cash value still grows. Okay. It doesn't take it back to zero, right? Your savings account, if you do this, you're back to 36,000. Okay. Now your cash value, you can maybe only borrow 36. You only have access to 36, but guess what happens next year? It keeps, as long as you keep dumping your $2,000 a month into it, this will keep growing. Okay. Now, yes, you bumping your $2,000 a month into it, and you'll somehow have to pay this back. If you don't pay that back, at the end of whole life insurance is a death benefit. We're not getting this for the death benefit. We're getting this for the life benefit. Okay. If you take out a loan for $100,000, I suggest you pay it back. I suggest you make whatever payments you can to get that paid back as fast as possible. If something happens, something comes up, you can't make a payment that month, nobody cares. Nobody is knocking on your door. Right now, these loans, my loan is at 5.68% that I can take a loan against my line, or not my line of credit, my life insurance policy. Okay. If I never make another payment on this, this will accrue interest, and it will come all the way through. And then at the end of your life, when the death benefit's paid out, all they do is they subtract whatever you still owe. Now, there will be interest on that, of course. So that's why I say pay this down whenever you can, as fast as you can. It might take you 10, 20 years. It doesn't matter, as long as you just chip this down. Now, say that you can, then you kind of use this as a velocity banking strategy. But now, instead of the HELOC, your debt tool, this is now a wealth tool. All right. So say we get this paid back. You can buy whatever you want. You can buy a car. In fact, this is how I suggest you buy all your cars. Anything that you would ever go to a bank and get a loan for, you now have access to it. This is your own bank. Okay. And this is the hardest part for me. I got my policy about 6 years ago. And it took me a long time to get everything figured out. But once it clicks, it's like, holy cow, this is great, because I'm always making money. This is making money at about 5%. Okay. You're always making money. No matter what you take out, no matter what you borrow against, you're always making money. It's always increasing. It's compounding interest, okay, that you're making. Now, a savings account's not like that. This is gone. It starts over, and the banks, they don't want to pay any money. No, this is guaranteed. Some of these are guaranteed. The 5% is not guaranteed. That's why you have to get a mutually owned company that pays dividends. Your broke brother-in-law down the street doesn't always know how to work these, okay? Most insurance salesmen don't know what they're doing with this. They're going to try to get you into something else that gets them the highest commission, because with these, there is not a lot of commission. All of the insurance is stripped out. The death benefit is stripped out. This is a high cash value. It's meant to be used while you're living, okay? What else do I want to say about this? It is, you're investing your money in two places at once. You got your money working for you here. If you're making money at 5%, and this is compound interest, and you start paying this down a little bit, even if it's at 5%, I was like, well, that's a wash. It's the same thing. I might as well just use my savings account. Well, as you pay this down, you're still making more and more on this every month. We made almost $1 million in interest. Where are we at on the 30th month? We made $7,000 of interest, okay, on this last month before this last payment. You got, your account went up by $7,000. So imagine that just keeps going and going and going. I hope there's questions on this. I know I had a lot. I'm trying to explain this in a couple different ways. When the light bulb finally went off with me, this was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. So the ease of getting access to this is great. You don't have to go to the banker and beg and, kiss the ring of the banker to have them give you a loan. It's super easy. You get it for whatever you want. You pay it back. I suggest, like I said, pay it back as soon as you can. You don't have to pay it back at all. At the end, your kids, your heirs won't get that much of a death benefit. But again, that's not why we're using it. You still have access to this. And it will still grow as you take those loans out. So I hope this helps. I hope there's questions. Please comment. Take a look at my website. You can get in contact with me, and hope to work together. And good luck, everybody.